Hey Princeton Church, I'm so glad that you're taking some time this week to join us for a devotional. A time where we purposefully set aside everything that's going on to sit, to be quiet, and to reflect on the words of the scriptures. To remember that God has a plan and to use His word as a reminder that even through the toughest times, His plan, while it may not look like our plan, is for the glory of His kingdom, something that we're all a part of, and He uses that to shape our lives and the lives of those around us. You know, I bet your day started a lot like mine. Maybe you woke up and started the coffee or the tea. You hopped into the bathroom to shower, to brush your teeth, or to comb your hair. And I can almost guarantee that you did those things looking straight ahead to the wall, and maybe on that wall was a mirror that reflected back to you and showed you what you looked like at that very moment in time. A couple weeks ago, I started my morning just like this, and then I met up with a friend for coffee. We got to talking about life, about the church, and about everything that was going on in my life and his life at the time. Throughout our conversation, he brought up something that got me thinking, what if mirrors didn't exist? How could we see ourselves? How could we know what we look like? How would we know if we still had bedhead, or if there was dirt on our face, or if we had something in our teeth? What if mirrors just didn't exist? What if we had no way to see our true reflection? Well, we'd have to rely on those around us to let us know what we look like, to reflect back to us what we were showing to the world. You know, the more I thought about this, I kept thinking about how this applies to our spiritual lives. There's no literal mirror that we can hold up. There's nothing that we can do alone to assess our spiritual health, to make sure that everything is in order or looks perfectly groomed on the outside. You see, mirrors don't require any action to do what they were made to do. They just do it. You can stand in place, you can say nothing, and the mirror will reflect that very thing back to you. But our spiritual reflection requires action. It requires us to express our faith, our hope, and our love towards others in order to reflect what's on the inside to be seen on the out. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. The book of James was a letter written to the early church to remind them that faith without action isn't faith at all. Faith has to be seen, it has to be heard, and it has to work to make itself visible. In James 1:22, it says, "Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. Anyone who listens to the word but doesn't do it, what it says, is like someone who looks at his face in the mirror and after looking at himself goes away and immediately forgets what he looks like. But whoever intently looks into the perfect law that gives us freedom and continues in it, not forgetting what they've heard, but doing it, they will be blessed in what they do." We need to see ourselves, see where we stand, see where we sit before we can act. And to do that, we've been given God's word. And when we look to the Bible, we should see a reflection of ourselves. It's there that the words expose our imperfections. They guide us in how we should put ourselves together, to put everything in place, to get it together. Luckily for us, mirrors do exist, so we can see what we look like on the outside. We can put ourselves together. We can put everything in its place. And I bet that you find yourself looking into a mirror more than once a day. Now more than ever, we're washing our hands in front of a mirror multiple times a day. We have opportunities for checkpoints throughout the day to make sure that we've got it together. We should absolutely see our spiritual life in the same way, making sure that our faith is in check, that we are reflecting to the outside world what is happening on the inside. And this isn't just a one and done thing. It takes dedication and commitment and checkpoints throughout the day to ask ourselves, am I reflecting my faith, my love, my joy, and my peace to those around me? I don't know about you, but there are some times when I look into the mirror and I'm not 100% confident in what I see. Sometimes my eyes look tired. I will find a gray hair. I find new lines or wrinkles that some might call laugh lines, but really it just happens with age. As a kid growing up and hearing that we're all made in His image, I couldn't help but think, do I have God's eyes? Is one of my ears His? What about my hands? I was thinking about this literally. I couldn't understand that when so many people have come before me and will come after me, how any part of me could be made in his image. And while I can't fully say that I understand everything now, I can understand how my physical reflection isn't what God looks like. It's my spiritual reflection. Jesus' greatest commandment in Matthew 22 has nothing to do with what we look like. Jesus said in reply to the Pharisees, "Love the Lord your God with all of your heart and your soul and with all of your mind." This is the first and the greatest commandment, and the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. It's the small moments during the day, like when we wake up or when we rest our head each night, that we should reflect on what it really means to be made in his image. What are you reflecting to those around you? I hope you know and challenge you this week to know that our faith in God and the faith that we put into action will only help us start well, finish well, and reflect God to those around us.